Let me tell you younger folks something, especially those of you that are looking to get married. The approaches you've taken to find a spouse, I will not spell out for you. You already know, and I already know. The options you've considered, the conversations you've had, the social interactions you've had are between you and Allah. I'm no one to judge. But I know some of you have a guilty conscience inside of you. My first plea, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you, the most important asset you have, the most valuable thing you will have in this life is a clean heart. Because that is the only key to Jannah. That is the only key to salvation on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And when you give your heart prematurely to a relationship that is illegitimate, then that heart starts getting dirty. And when a heart starts getting dirty, it is no longer suitable for Allah Azza wa Jalla anymore. So don't think that your relationships or your inappropriate interactions and inappropriate relationships are not going to have a spiritual impact. They absolutely and certainly will. And they will destroy in you the most valuable thing that you carry within you, your iman. It will ruin it. You have to protect that faith. When you're looking for a spouse, it's okay to look for somebody that you're attracted to, that you find good looking, that you find their personality is nice and all of these other things. But don't forget the principles. Try to live by some of this stuff and you'll see a lot of barakah in your own relationships. First of all, understand that for the guys, the girl you like is somebody's sister, is somebody's daughter, is the respect and honor of somebody's family. So when you're staring at her like that, just think about somebody staring at your sister like that. Just remind yourself of that. Just remember this is somebody's honor we're talking about. It's okay for you to see a glance and say, oh, I want to marry her. That was great. But one glance is good enough for you and you take the dignified approach. First of all, don't be a perv and walk around like, Don't do that. That's not the kind of Islamic spirit we're trying to revive here. So that's one. But two, if you do find somebody interesting, take a respectful approach. The best approach, honest to God, the best approach is an indirect one. The best approach is through a friend, through somebody's, a friend who has a sister who knows her, etc., etc. Try to be as indirect as possible. Because when you're direct, shaitan loves it. He just puts stuff in you and he puts stuff in her and the giggles start and the smiling and then the texting begins and then you're sharing, then you're adding each other on Facebook and then you're calling each other late at night. Then the Skype thing begins, then things get out of hand. Things take one step at a time and they just really get out of hand. Take as indirect an approach as possible. And, some people ask, well, how am I supposed to get to know the person? You can. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with getting to know the person. But get others involved. And so that's the other thing I want to attack today. There's no harm in two families talking to each other. It is not too formal. Don't go crazy they're getting engaged. It's just two people trying to talk in a respectful way. Don't turn it into something it's not. So families, you say, I don't want to tell my family, it's not that serious yet. Actually, that's the problem. You should tell your family even when it's not serious. And your family shouldn't get all crazy. We can't approach them, they might take it too seriously. It's not serious, it's just two families talking. That's how communication is supposed to happen. If you're not involved in it, they're going to do it on their own anyway. You can't stop it. It's all around us. You don't think that stuff was happening when I was going to college in 1835? It was still happening. These are realities. We have to deal with reality instead of cursing it and yelling at it. It's not going to change it. We have to face it. So get your family involved. Don't let your family get too worked up about it's too big of a deal. Don't let it become too big of a deal. It's okay to have a conversation with a family, with a guy talking to a girl, with a chaperone, getting to know each other, trying to figure things out and things like that. And if it works out, it works out. If not, alhamdulillah, you move on. But you didn't get emotionally attached. You had some butterflies in your stomach, but they didn't turn into like entire pigeons in your stomach. Right? So you didn't go that crazy. You didn't become emotionally invested. Here's the problem with becoming emotionally invested. When you become emotionally invested, you fall in love with a girl or with a guy or something, and you're like, I have to marry this person. First of all, you have no guarantees it's going to work out. And second of all, when you get that infatuated, you don't care what anybody else thinks. And when you go that crazy, then you don't want to listen to anybody. And so you don't listen to your parents, you don't listen to her parents, you don't listen to your brother, your sister. Nobody's advice matters to you anymore. These parents try to bring you to a speaker. Sheikh, talk to him, he wants to marry this girl. And the Sheikh's like, what am I going to do? Don't marry her. Okay. Doesn't work. It's too late. And if it doesn't work out, one of two things happens. If it does work out, you have scarred your family. Because you went on a war against your family to do it. And if it doesn't work out, you're scarred forever. And you will now not be able to have a healthy relationship again, because in the back of your mind will be the other relationship. It's an unhealthy way to go about things, you know? Don't engage, don't invest yourself emotionally, don't quote unquote fall in love like that. And if you think you just fell in love in this conference, walking down the hall, you saw a girl like, that's not falling in love, that's just your hormones. Congratulations, you're a teenager. You know, that's not love. You know? Anyhow, so there's two sides of it, at the parent side and the youth side. For young people, my advice is become a little more strict. And for the parents, my advice is become a little less strict. Like, we've got an imbalanced situation here. We've got youth that have no guidelines and no restrictions. Nothing's wrong, everything's permissible, like Assassin's Creed or something, right? It's like that. And on the other side, you've got parents that are way too strict and they're unrealistic in their strictness. And so we're choking our own community in this way, subhanAllah. This should not be happening.